Hey guys, this is Kim Graff, and I am recording about my language journey. So, language has been kind of an interesting thing for me for quite a while. I taught myself Spanish when I was 10. I learned Hebrew through my religion, and I learned, well, English from, I guess, just being alive in America. So, it's been an interesting journey. I've traveled so many different countries, seen so many different things, and I've been actually very lucky in that pursuit. Um, so, I guess as a language user, we can go through a couple of the different aspects that I have used language in my life and what context they've been used in. Let's see. Oh, okay. I figured out how to change this. Okay, so Hebrew would be the language that I learned because of my religion. I learned it mostly through book. So I would sit down with like the Torah or something like that, and I would learn it that way. Like somebody would help me read the letters, and eventually I got the alphabet, and then I would start on vocabulary. So it was a completely new adventure because you have this need to learn a completely different alphabet. But the cool thing is it makes me feel a part of a community. So it's also, I guess, part of the language learning and the language using process. I can understand my services better. I can go to temple and understand the words that are being said and things that I couldn't previously see or read before. As a language analyst, it's amazing this language has come alive again after thousands of years. So really, it's an amazing language. Um, and as a language advocate, I would encourage anybody to learn Hebrew just because if you are religious at all, Christianity, Judaism, either way, it really benefits to learn this language to understand your position in the world better. My next one, Marine. So that is a language, kind of a dialect that I learned from being in the service. And it makes me kind of all these things. As far as being a language user, I use it still today, and I get criticized a lot for being abrupt and kind of brash when I speak, and that's where this comes from. I have a tonality, I have a system of speaking that had worked very well when I was in the military for 6 years and doesn't work as well in the civilian world. And part of it is me just having to relearn and to translanguage between this and standard English. So it's been difficult. There's been a lot of misunderstandings. As a language advocate, I used this dialect as a Marine to go around the world and do a lot of really great things. So I've been very lucky with that as well. Spanish. I taught myself Spanish when I was 10. I There was a friend that I had, and she came to our temple for the first time and did not speak English. So I wanted to figure out a way to talk to her. And I would sit next to her, and during the entire service, we would sit there and translate words back and forth. So she spoke English, or she didn't speak English, she spoke Spanish and was trying to learn English, and I was trying to learn Spanish. So we would sit next to each other, and I would write an English word, and I would describe it to her, and she would, write the Spanish equivalent back. So it was usually the things we had like with us while we were sitting there, like book or pencil or anything I could find in my mom's purse, and then we would point at it, and she'd write the word, and I'd write the word, and we kind of figured it out that way. And that's actually kind of how I learned Spanish. I put post-it notes up in my room of all the different items and what they were called. I had a Spanish dictionary that helped me out with that. So that was kind of interesting. I'm not really sure why I was so motivated. I wasn't motivated for school, but that I was motivated for. English. English was an endeavor lasting my entire life. I obviously started speaking English when I was a kid. My parents speak English. They don't speak any other language. Um, it's evolved. I was a writer for a long time in high school and in college. The picture here is of my family and my husband's ex-wife, actually. And the reason that I included that was because as far as learning to speak with someone who you don't necessarily get along with all the time, it was good to know like how to speak in a diplomatic tone, and that this situation has definitely taught me that. The last slide, I didn't actually explain that slide. Wadi was the university I attended in Mexico, so that's why that is up there. I thought that was interesting. I didn't even explain it. Yeah, so that has been kind of my English journey, or my journey through languages. English, it got frustrating for me after I suffered a TBI in a car accident. So I have a lot more, I've a lot more issues with English and forming sentences and forming ideas than I did before the car accident. I broke my face and hit my head pretty hard, so that's been the biggest challenge. I get pretty frustrated because I was really eloquent and fluent, and I could write and I could speak and I could do just so many more things that I just can't do as well now. So that's been a real bummer for me. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a great Tuesday.